So last presentation of this track will be held by Dominik, and he will talk about IoT and big data science.
Okay, last one before dinner. I'll try and keep it short. I got the wonderful title to IoT, Big Data Science, and the Process of Research, Development, and Innovation. Glorious. Again, I'm not the initial presenter for this. I'm standing in for a while again, who had the idea to use that title, so I had to make up a presentation to kind of fit in. What I want to talk about is really what are we experiencing and how are we tackling it from our own perspective, but also what do we see out with our customers. There is a huge onslaught of new technologies coming our way. All the different approaches, etc. Now everybody is doing big data, yada, yada, yada. But the question is are those things that we're doing here, are they really innovative, or are we just keeping up with technology? Right? So are we really inventing new things? And I've stolen this, for those that attended Vantara World, I've stolen this from the Forrester guy. You see the challenge that we're facing and the mistake basically a lot of customers are doing, which is you see technology evolving, and at first it looks like, yeah, it's just moving linear. And all companies, they always plan linear, more or less. We think linear. But when in reality happens, it starts accelerating, it starts going up. I said, okay, yeah, it's just increase a little bit, and yeah, we will be fine. But at the end of the day, you find yourself up on the top, and you find yourself in deep shit because you're trying to catch up. Right? So this is really the challenge that we're facing with big data and with all the technologies around it, and with artificial intelligence, etc., etc. And a lot of it is such a big buzz and hype out there. I wanted to try and give you, first of all, a bit of a distinction onto what's what, but also kind of a guideline, three items that we are using for ourselves as an approach to tackling that. Now, first of all, what's innovation? What's not innovation? Regulatory arbitrage, so basically just skimming off tiny increases, if you like. Or do something just on a different platform. We've been doing this for 100 years now, we're just doing it on a different platform. We've moved from Postgres to, I don't know, Oracle, or we moved from Oracle X to Oracle Y. It's not a big innovation, it's just, again, keeping up with technology. Even if you say, okay, we moved now from a database onto Hadoop, if you're still doing the same thing, you may have just changed the underlying platform, but you're not doing anything different. That's not innovation. Yeah, that's basically it. What it is, on the other hand, and especially that's for us, right? You want to find connections. And this is where this ties into data science. You want to find new connections, you want to find new insights, new possibilities, especially in your data, right, into processes, etc., how you can optimize those, and how you can incrementally solve. I mean, we're not talking about boiling the ocean here. We're talking about small steps to get there. Right? You didn't just jump into big data and everything was all fine from day one. You would gradually go there. And that's the same with innovation, right? You can't just flick a switch and everything will be nice and shiny. But yeah, looking at it from data, and this is, again, data science can only work on data, obviously. New business models. We have seen so many customers that have completely changed their business model, like, for example, Hitachi Rail. Hitachi Rail has a completely new business model. They are no longer selling trains. They're no longer selling a 500-ton piece of hardware. They are now selling train as a service. The move to everything as a service needs new models behind it, needs new insights, needs more automation, etc., to even be viable or to pay off at the end of the day. Or you optimize your processes. Again, if you have an insight into your process, you can start optimizing it. understanding your value chain. Often enough, you don't, because you have data sitting in different silos, which is kind of the old problem we've always had, that we try to tackle with data warehouses, etc., but also understanding the correlations between things across all the data you have in your company. And one important point is, don't confuse pure research. Research is a very standardized process with innovation. If you do research, proper research, you want to find a truth. If you do innovation, you may find something that's just slightly better. If you do machine learning, the science of machine learning is that it's an experimental science. You will never have a 100% result. You will have a 95% result. But that's going to give you a big, big, big advantage. Right? So the data relationships, the connections between your data is where you build your benefit. And that is a problem that we see with a lot of customers, many, many customers that have moved into big data. They've started building a data lake. And they said, okay, now we've moved, literally, one customer of ours, 6,500 data sources in just one project, dumped into the data lake. Now what? Now can you have some magic fairy dust to sprinkle all of that data to automatically make the connections and tell us what data will work with which and which will give us a new insight? That's kind of hard, but we found a way. But again, it is that connection between the data where you can leverage statistics, machine learning, but also quite basic things in Java, like, for example, profiling, etc., to find out what data will work well together, and again, to start really innovating and finding new insights. Why now? Why is now the big time that we're doing this? I mean, the obvious one is compute power, right? If you look at how much processing power costs back in the days, it's amazing, right? I mean, 150 billion down to 3 cents. That's just purely amazing. The amount of capacity, compute capacity we have at our hands today allows us, for a comparably small amount of money, to do simply magic with numbers. The other thing is rapid development. We just heard that. Things like Vantara that allow you to graphically program, graphically build logic. That's the idea behind the adaptive execution layer that we've introduced now. Data flow programming. Focus on the problem you're trying to solve. Focus on the logic you're trying to build, independent of which engine or platform you're running it on later on. This is allowing you to prototype super rapid, test something on your laptop, and then just flick a switch, shoot it out to your big data cluster, run it there. Right? It's really, really easy with those things. And you can do those rapid prototypes and fail fast. Right? There's a big mantra: fail fast, fail cheap. If you realize very quickly that the road you're taking is not leading anywhere, you've saved a lot of time and money, especially if you have limited resources. Right? So just go ahead, try stuff, break stuff. One thing we have done internally at Vantara, in the pre-sales team at least, build custom plugins. If you have something where you say, okay, here's a functionality we're missing, or we need a bit of a combination between the two, or yeah, we know it's coming, but we need maybe a wrapper to make something behave slightly different, that's easy. That's what you can do with Vantara fairly quickly. Right? Take a standard and maybe just build little bits and pieces around it. Things like storage, etc., again, is just secondary. Right? That kind of comes by itself. We want to focus on the action logic. And finally, cloud. Cloud is one of the biggest drivers ever. I know, especially in Germany, we're super hesitant to move anything into the cloud. Although we now have cloud providers as German companies, hosted in Germany, everything German. So we're gradually picking up. But again, for a prototype, even with test data or non-sensitive data, that is easy to do. And we see that more and more and more, that customers are spinning up test instances or dev instances in the cloud just to test something. Right? You can literally say, okay, give me a 5-node Cloudera cluster, give me that framework, and just a bunch of clicks. It takes a couple of minutes, and that thing is completely spun up, and you can start working. Right? Don't focus on getting hardware, especially when you're working for a larger company. That can take months to get your hands on hardware before you even start working. It's a couple of minutes in the cloud. So, a lot of talking. What I want you to take away from this, don't worry too much about the technology, really focus on what you're trying to, focus on the logic, first of all. Right? Vantara is brilliant to just focus on the logic, focus on what you're trying to achieve, whether it's world domination or not. And then, again, technology will pretty much come by itself. The other one, just challenge yourself. Are you really, if you want to be innovative, if you just say, hey, let's just make sure we keep the lights on, that's fine. But if you say, if you claim to be innovative, check yourself if you're not just doing the same thing on just on a different platform, right? That isn't innovation. It's just, again, keeping the lights on. And finally, don't over-engineer stuff. There are a lot of things out there that don't need a big solution. And I remember we had quite a laugh when we had a bit of an exercise and we had to come up with a solution as quickly as possible. And the other group failed miserably because they were trying to build a reproducible solution. And it was just a one-off. It was something that we just needed exactly once. And after that, we could throw it away because we had the information. It was just once. Interested for like 24 hours. Gone. Don't bother following a big process. Just get it done. Just get your results. Throw it away afterwards. And that's it. Quick and dirty. Thank you. Questions? I know this has been fairly high level. We can dive in a lot more detail where required.
Yeah, you said that you collect data, put it in a data lake, and then what? And then you say, we have a solution. What's the solution?
Okay. So we have been working on this very problem. What we did is, it's kind of a multi-step approach. First of all, we want to understand your data. Right? You have data sitting in there, you have no idea where it comes from, what's inside, what types of data, is it master data, is it confidential data, etc., etc. So use Vantara to do things like data profiling. There's a lot of stuff already under the hood that you can just leverage to get a better understanding of the data automatically. Simple example, import a CSV file, click on get rows. Read the metadata. Those steps have been exposed to make exactly that possible. When you're loading data, understand what it is. So we can use metadata injection, for example, for the automation. And I'm sure I probably mentioned that. One of the big magic things behind this is automation. If you want to go big scale with that, you have to use automation. You can't possibly have one person go through 6,000 data sources and try and connect and stitch them together somehow. It's not going to fly. You need automation. And again, Vantara allows you to do that. And again, what we've done is we've taken out of the box steps. We have added one custom step that we just built because we said that's kind of the piece we need. And now we can scan the whole data lake, create collections and see what's in there. If it's personal data, if it's data that has been flagged, for example, we can expose it so you can flag it and say, okay, that needs to be masked, for example. But again, it's basically high-level profiling, deeper profiling, and then based on the metadata you pull out of it, you can identify similarities, do pattern matching, etc. And actually, we do have a customer that does a pretty similar thing. And bad news for everybody from the UK, it's the the UK tax office. Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. They do exactly that. They try and find out from a number of different data sources if the guy that is living in a totally posh and expensive area but isn't paying any taxes, maybe the guy that's making a fortune selling stuff on eBay. Right? That kind of connection is something they do automatically using big data. So in that case, they use a Hadoop data lake, pull together just 12 data sources. But again, matching that, or no, other way around. They have retired 12 data sources, 12 internal systems, but they also tie in external data sources, for example, like eBay, etc. So that is one solution that's out there, that's live, where they have done something very, very similar. And again, it's all based on profiling, automatic matching, but again, fuzzy matching, those kind of things, they are out there in the product. And again, start with something simple. You don't have to get the 100% solution from day one. Gradually do it. You will every step, with every piece of logic you add, which is easy to add, to just add another step, right? Gradually increase the ROI of that solution. And that works absolute magic. And again, use metadata injection, those kind of things, and you can go big scale with that in no time. Extremely powerful. More questions? Everybody hungry? All right, enjoy dinner. Again, if you have come up with any more questions, we're around tonight for dinner. And if not, Stefan will go.
Thanks, Dominik.